Hi there, welcome to the new lecture. In this short lecture, we will be learning about multiple admin approvals. In a short, we also call as MAA or MAA. So this is a new feature within Microsoft Intune portal. What it does is basically, if you just go back to the tenant administration, you have an option called multi-admin approval. Let's say if you have requested to do some change on applications, example, that change may be done by one admin. Maybe it could be authorized or unauthorized, but it's a good to have a second review on that specific change. Let's say there's an admin A who is trying to do some modification on the applications deployment. Let's say he's trying to target to all Windows devices, and as a second admin he has to approve that change by reviewing that change. That's where the multi admin approval comes into the picture. And similarly, this configuration is applicable for two areas. One would be the at this point of time, a recording of 2023, in the month of February, there are two places we should be able to apply. One would be the applications, other one would be the scripts. So you should be able to create or make any changes by any other admin, or the second admin can only approve or review if some admin has done some changes on applications or scripts. The other person can review it. Let's say, just want to show you here, if I want to go for multi-admin approval, I should be able to review this configuration. For example, this is a justification that was provided by the another admin. So this is the admin called Paddy at memcourse.com. He is actually doing some change. For example, he is making some change to the package application display name from, this is the left side is the app changes, this is the original setting, this is the left side is the original setting and the right side is the actual change. So the original setting consists of test, and in the right side the user is removing the test information. That's what he's trying to do. Apart from that, there is additional behavior changes also happen. Example, so the user have to when he has done some changes, this is how the request will come to the second user, and the second user will provide his business justification, and then he might be approving, so that this actual configuration will go live. Meaning, if a user created an application also, it's not going to push out until unless the second admin to approve it. If the user is rejecting, this configuration cannot be made any changes. So this way, it's actually securing your application, that's called Intune, from unauthorized changes or a compromised admin changes. So this configuration can be deployed for your applications as well as for your scripts. So if you talk about the scripts, for example, within this you have your scripts. So if you do any modification to the scripts also, for example, I want to configure for my disable SMB, I wanted to apply the specific script. I'm trying to do some modification. I logged in as a Maddie, as a user. Now I wanted to remove this change. For example, I don't want this YT team group, so I've done review, and as soon as I've done that, it says that before this resource can be updated, you must have to be approved by another admin. And what happens is, if I have to provide here justification saying that this is no longer needed, group example, that's a justification I've given, and say submit for the approval. What would happen is, for another user, so the current user is a Maddie, and if I try to log in with another user called Paddy, for example, this is the user called Paddy. If I just do a refresh by going to multi-admin approval, I would get it here as it needs approval. So the status would depends on a different activities. For example, it was approved, it was rejected, it has a needed approvals. So if I just have to click on this justification and review the justification that was provided by another admin called, this was requested by Maddie. So I don't think So this is correct example, and simply either I could approve or reject. So in this case, if I reject, the change is not gonna success. So if I just go back here, the change says that whatever this change was success earlier, it will stay back. So if I just do quick refresh of this web page, I should be able to see that it is still there because it was not approved by another admin. So that's an advantage. So these are the changes. So when this was introduced, so it was introduced in the month of November 2022, and we would say there's a great improvement definitely, so that when an access policies are created, you should be able to protect the resources from any kind of changes on application and the scripts, and this is going to be at the tenant level. So there is any compromised user found, he cannot do any modifications to that. And coming back to the so he would definitely follow the proper change management. Without that, nothing gonna approve it, right? That's a good thing. And coming back to the uh, policies where you could apply this, you could be applying an applications as well as only scripts at this point of time in the year 2023 February. In case in a future Microsoft may release additional features to support, for example, complaints policies or maybe configuration policies, definitely Microsoft is going to come up additional changes also with the multi-admin approval. But today it's supporting only 2. So where should I able to see is you have to create here an access policy as a first step. So if I just try to create a policy, I should be able to target at this point of time to scope for only scripts as well as applications. That's why I said you should be able to only scope for scripts and applications at this point of time. And if you look at here the process how you would configuring the admin console, which is going to cover in the next lecture as a demo. First you would be creating the MAA policy. This is where the policy we just shown you here, you would be creating the policy, and then you would be once you created, the user will submit the justification for any change, and then the other person will approve. Once it is approved, you should be able to see the status from the monitoring. So the monitoring is nothing but this is a monitoring space. What we do, if I requested here, for example, whether it is approved or rejected, I should be able to see from my request status, or I would be able to even track it from here directly. So this is all about the multi-admin approval. I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and make sure that you check out the next lecture for the step-by-step configuration. So we would follow these 4 different steps to configure this configuration. Thank you for watching this.